It's no wonder people have absolutely lost their minds at Trump's victory, because let's face it, if you are fed your information from the mainstream media, Trump is the Hitler devil reincarnated. It's no surprise some folks reacted like this to his undeniably victorious victory. And I know what you're thinking, aren't I a left-leaning liberal environmentalist who would do anything to stop Trump's maddening campaign? Well, no. I've done what mainstream media, eco-terrorists or the Democratic Party seem incapable of doing, with a bit of self-reflection, a good old look in the mirror to see by if chance I might be wrong about the news I'm being fed. I know already that I'll lose subscribers over this, and I'm bound to get some hate thrown my way too, but I must be honest with myself and you, dear audience, when I say the last time that Donald Trump got into power, I was in disbelief too. Disgusted even at the very idea that this seemingly narcissistic, self-centred bullshit was entrusted with the most powerful role on earth. Let alone he would have to come and meet our queen at the time. Mainstream media did their best to smear him, said nothing positive of his actions, yet at the end of his term, as far as I could see, he'd done some good. No new wars was a good start. What about bridging the relationship between Kim Jong-un and calming down the nuclear threat of North Korea? That's not nothing, is it? More than Obama achieved over there, for example. The Abraham Accords, bringing some peace to the Middle East. And yes, building a wall that I was led to believe was a terrible thing to do. Fancy wanting to take control of your own borders and illegal immigration and wanting to vet immigrants instead. Check who is coming into your country, rather than the equivalent of unlocking your front door and allowing a free-for-all of goodness knows who. Is that not common sense? If he were planning to lead with a Hitler-style dictatorship, don't you think he would have made a start by now? Look, I don't particularly like the guy. His orange face is ridiculous. My face is ridiculous. It doesn't matter whether you like him or I as a person. What matters is he good for the country, the US citizens, the world for that matter, of which I would argue, based on past history, he is good for. The guy's had 2 assassination attempts, was shot in the ear, then stood right back up and told the crowd to fight, fight, fight. There's no faking that kind of bravery. How many politicians do you know that would do that? If it's not clear that he really does have America's best interests at heart and wants nothing more than to improve the lives of Americans while standing up to true tyrannical powers of the Democratic Party, give the guy a chance, or moreover, give his team a chance. For he has behind him a team of extraordinary people now who are dedicated to their new positions. From RFK Jr., who wants to reform America's food industry. About time, it ain't all great if you didn't know. Then Tulsi Gabbard, a Hawaiian-born veteran of the US military who was flung under the bus by her own Democratic Party, who claims she was a Russian spy due to her dismantling Kamala Harris on this previous debate.
Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Then there's J.D. Vance, with the exception of hating wind turbines for some reason, is a very level-headed, intelligent, normal human being, which is somewhat refreshing in the world of politics. And here's my challenge to you: if you are seething through this video and wonder why this British prat is remarking on anything to do with US politics, take the time to listen to what these people have to say in long-form discussion podcasts, not sound bites or gotcha moments from the mainstream media, long-form 3-hour discussions. They've all been on Joe Rogan's pod if you want to start there. Tulsi Gabbard, for example, many times. I'm simply recommending listening with an open mind to see what they have to say is reasonable, honest, and as they are now in power, whether you think they are capable of genuine positive change. And yes, everyone should be suspicious at the fact that Kamala Harris eventually agreed to go on Joe Rogan's podcast, but made the ridiculous demand that Joe go to her, and that it would only be a 45-minute interview. Why would that be, I wonder? Not capable of talking without a teleprompter? What sort of leader is that? Let's get to Elon's role, shall we? To head up the Department of DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, which in a nutshell, or Peanut the Squirrel's nutshell, will take the 420 plus government agencies in America and cut them down to size to save an expected $2 trillion per year. Just as Elon let that sink into Twitter and let go of 70% of the staff, improved the service no end and took Twitter/X to be the #1 news source around the world. The only social media site that puts truth and transparency before propaganda and fake news. And if you'd like to test that theory, please do. The community notes feature on X extends to every user. Post a falsehood and you, or Elon Musk himself for that matter, will receive a community note correcting your falsehood. It really is the only media source with practically real-time fact-checking. Mainstream media, by contrast, is a one-way street of information. Tell a lie on there, as they do daily, and there's zero repercussions. Which is precisely why some people on Earth are fed up of lying bullshit from every media angle. The moment you realise you are being lied to over and over again by the mainstream media about electric cars being a viable option, sustainable energy being a pretty damn good idea, Elon Musk for improving humanity from a multitude of ways, Donald Trump for standing up against the liberal elite that have done all they can to smear, censor and crush all hopes for real change for the nation. It's time to wake up. Stephen Mark Ryan hits hard with this comment. The only people surprised by Trump's landslide victory both, #1, live in a bubble, and #2, don't know they live in a bubble. Good learning opportunity if you're one of those folks in shock. If you think Elon Musk buying Twitter was still a mistake after uncovering blatant corruption, see the Twitter files for example, if you think Elon Musk getting political was a huge mistake, yet has now positioned himself to tackle the US deficit and get government spending under control, to start paying back that biblical American debt of $35.7 trillion. That's a debt per taxpayer of around $250,000. Does Elon have a great track record of achieving the impossible? Yes! It's about time Elon was celebrated and set free like the Twitter bird and allow him the opportunity to improve America and by extension the world. If there is still confusion as to why Elon even sided with the Republicans in the first place, he literally had no choice. AJ on X. Democrats are angry that Elon is voting Republican. They should remember that, #1. Biden called Mary Barra, the CEO of General Motors, the leader in electric vehicles whilst barely selling any EVs. #2, Biden's administration didn't allow Tesla to attend the EV summit at the White House. #3, the Biden administration nearly pushed through the EV tax credit to exclude non-unionised EV makers. Just Tesla then. #4, Biden called publicly to look into Elon's activity, kicking off an avalanche of frivolous investigations. I am sure I forgot something. Yes, you did. Here's some more. They ran adverts calling him a freeloader the year Elon paid more tax than anyone in American history, a tax bill of $12 billion. SpaceX was sued by the Department of Justice for hiring discrimination, for not hiring refugees that would have violated the rules of the top-secret rocket technology. A catch-22 situation that could not be won. How could the Democrats possibly expect Elon to support them after such disgraceful attacks on the man doing more for humanity than anyone else in history? And if you just lolled, tell me who else has done more. I'll be waiting. This is my journey. This is my honesty. Whether you agree or disagree, let's move on with the hope that everything's going to be all right. Because you know what? It will be all right. The future is now looking brighter than ever, whether you can see it or not. And let's end from this from the great Christopher Hitchens. Take the risk of thinking for yourself. Much more happiness, truth, beauty and wisdom will come to you that way. Dare I say, let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm Will. This is the Tesla Jigsaw. Thank you, Patreons. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.